I'm DeTillio. I'm quarterback for Avon football, and this is Ohio Sportsnet. Medical club, I'm in sign language club, I'm in career club, and I'm in key club. National Honor Society, and I'm in band. I play the tenor saxophone.
Really?
Yep.
Sam, what does it mean to you to be an Avon Eagle?
I think it means a lot. Growing up in this community, I grow up coming here watching these kids on Friday night. So it's a big deal to actually be a part of that. Being an Avon Eagle is not only being excellent on the field, but also off the field. I think this program puts a lot of emphasis on just being a good young man. It's not all about the wins and the losses, but through this program, creating like respectful young men to go out into this world. So I think excellence both on and off the field is the most important thing in this program.
How much did it help that you had an older brother in the program? Maybe he gave you some pointers coming in.
I think it helps a lot because before I was thrown into it myself, I saw how much work it actually took. Waking up early every day of the summer, staying late, putting in that extra time on film. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it that a lot of people don't see, and you really don't know what you're getting yourself into until you're all the way in. So I think it really helps having somebody close to me that went through it personally.
Two-a-days and the getting up early for weightlifting and all that. How would you compare everything that you go through to an outsider?
I don't think it's possible to make somebody understand. Just the feeling that you get when you wake up. Most people are like, oh, you must be so like tired or you don't want to get out of bed, but it's not like that at all. At least it's not like that for me. Like I'm excited to get up, go hang out with my friends, lift, I feel like I have a purpose with this football program. I get to wake up, I know what I have to go do, like what I need to go attack for the day, and come out here and get better with my best friends.
Being the quarterback, you feel extra pressure being the leader?
I think there's a lot of pressure, but I like the pressure. There's a lot more stuff that goes into it, a lot more like the mental game, so I like that part.
This year, it's kind of crazy how many weapons you have between running backs and receivers and tight ends and everything on offense. Do you feel like kid in a candy store?
Oh yeah, it's awesome. I call myself the distributor. You know, I hand it to JC, I hand it to Gavin, I toss it to Ethan, Drew. I have weapons all over the field, so I think it's an awesome spot for me. You got to spread it around.
With the success of this program, the expectations that you put on yourself, that your teammates put on you, that the community puts on you, how do you guys live up to that?
They keep saying this year, we haven't done anything. This team, this 2022-2023 team has done absolutely nothing. So I think we've been putting in like immense amount of work in the off season. I haven't read that much of like all of that stuff on Twitter. I like to just stay focused and live my day-to-day like life. So I think it's just focusing on the here and now. As Coach Fitch told us before, he said, be where your feet are. So I think that's what I've really been focusing on. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because like I remember in 4th grade playing against Drew Lindsay, and now he's my teammate. I think growing up with the kids in this community and then coming together to like reach one goal, I think it's a great bond that we've formed, and it's like lifelong friendships.
How much of an advantage does that give you guys over other teams?
So I think teams that come together, like some of these Catholic teams are open enrollment, that kids will just go together in like high school, they'll meet each other. I think it's a big advantage for us to have known these kids from 3rd grade. I have great chemistry with every single one of my receivers because I've been playing with them for like over 10 years. So I think it's a big advantage towards us.
What would be the perfect ending to your senior year?
It's not all about the wins and losses to me. I won a state championship, that's of course. But I mean, just to have a fun year, no injuries, and I think if we all come out of it better people, then that's a win for everyone.
Who on your team is somebody that doesn't maybe get the pub, doesn't get the notoriety, but you think they show up every day and you're just blown away by them every day?
I'd say Matt Fisher. He was in the captain's run, didn't get it, was really close. I think he's a beast at safety. You don't see him, like he's not all over the newspapers, not all over whatever. He's not making big plays, but he's preventing big plays. So I think that's where he comes in hand. He's reliable, he's always there. So I'd say Matt Fisher. I think he's a great leader.
If you could give advice to a future quarterback, player at Avon, maybe even a little kid that's sitting in the stands watching number 19 run around, what advice would you give them to make them want to come out and play for the Avon Eagles?
Playing in this program teaches you a lot of lessons. I mean, it's not just all about football. You learn a lot of football, you spend a lot of time playing football, learning football, but it's like the lessons off the field. They teach you how to be respectful, how to get yourself out of bed in the morning, how to put in the work. You learn to love the journey instead of just the destination.
How much has being part of this program changed you as a person?
I think it's made me a lot more well-rounded. I think I've learned to communicate and get along with people that maybe I always wouldn't have encountered with. You're thrown together with a bunch of sweaty dudes, and I mean, you have to like form a bond with them, and I mean, create friendship, and like you go through hell with them. So I think it creates relationships without even like trying.
When I say Sam DeTillio, what first comes to mind?
Savvy playmaker. Just finds a way to get it done always. For both his freshman and his sophomore year, Sam had it. And it's hard to, what is it? Because in a lot of ways he's unorthodox. But we moved and we scored. If you were to do a 7-on-7, Sam wasn't the guy. He just wasn't. But when we played real 11-on-11 football with shoulder pads on, he has it. That stood out to me, you know.
So when you put the pads on, what really separates him when you say the it? What is it about it?
He's incredibly smart. He is also, I don't want to get his head too big now, but there's like a Spider-Man quickness to him. Like his pocket presence was off the charts better than anybody he was competing with. And football is on paper, it's the way it's supposed to go, but when things break down or when it's just subtle movements within the pocket, Sam was really good. Obviously, as we found out as the year went on, he's also a really, really good runner with the football. There's plays I'm watching him on film, and he's going against a tough defensive line, and he's able to not get sacked. Where other guys sometimes sack themselves, you know, just by how they move in the pocket. And I would like to say it's my coaching. It's not. He takes coaching well, but then he just can apply it, and a lot of it's natural to him.
Last year, moving into this year, the talent he has around him in the skill positions, almost like a kid in a candy store, isn't he?
He is. He is, and it's a great problem to have. We always talk players, formations, plays, and then pick your matchup, you know, what's our best matchup, and then, but we have a lot of good matchups out there, so it's a lot of fun, and I hope that Sam's having fun with it. We have 3 running backs who are just dynamic as all get out. We have a bunch of receivers, and oh, by the way, even our tight ends are really, really good, and so we're an experienced team, and there's some pressure riding with that, and I think Sam just takes pressure, and it's like water off a duck's back. It don't really faze him.
As a play caller and him as the quarterback, how do you make everybody happy?
Winning. Winning makes everybody happy. Guys have to touch the ball, and that's on us. It's not on Sam, that's on us. So who do we need? And sometimes it's a matchup. Football is not that complicated. Coach Keddy's right. He says offense is easier than defense. In a lot of ways, it's right. We try to dress things up as complex to make them look complex when they're simple, we hope, is how do we get our best player on their worst player, period. And so that's on us to get that done, and it's also one of Sam's great gifts is we talk relentlessly about the game plan. Hey, this is what we believe this guy is going to do. Okay, this is why we're calling this play. And so we struggled a little bit at the beginning of last year. We figured it out, and Sam figured it out. Why are we doing this play? There's a rhyme and a reason why we're doing this play. And Sam has the gift of, this is why we're doing this play, but something looks a little off. Something looks off. And so I'll make it right. And Sam's really good at making it right.
In this senior class, too, you guys have seen them developing over the years. Is this a class, not to put them above any others, but a class you've really been looking forward to?
Correct, yes. Again, I've been here a while, and you love them all. In my memory, some of the biggest collection of talent all at the same time. We've had like tremendously gifted players in the past, always, and people who've given us everything they have, but now we just have a bunch of them now. And like they're gonna have fun.
Sam's one of the greatest leaders probably to ever play for Avon. He's a kid that kids will follow because he's a lead by example kind of guy. He also is a servant leader. He cares a great deal about his teammates. Nothing came easy to him. He had to compete and battle and fight for his opportunity to be our quarterback. Early on, he didn't have tremendous success in the first few games, and our team started out 2-2. A lot of the naysayers were standing up and making sure their voices were heard. Ultimately, Sam proved all those people wrong. He went on to have one of the best seasons of any quarterback in Avon history and became an all-Ohio quarterback. So really proud of him and how he handled adversity. Adversity was big. It was in his face early, and he handled it better than anybody.
What clicked when he just took off to another level?
I think with anybody, when you play quarterback, the game with experience slows down. You're now pre-snap able to identify coverages easier. You're obviously post-snap able to identify your reads easier. Conceptually, you understand what it is we're trying to accomplish with the concepts and the routes. There's a lot that a quarterback has to understand, even like where's the blitz coming from, what's our protection, who's the hot guy. And that's a tribute to him for how smart he is, and also Coach Powell, our quarterback's coach, spending time with him and getting him prepared and ready. But any quarterback's going to go through a maturation process, but I loved it because he stepped into a role that was a contested job and didn't have the success early on, and I just watched him stand in the face of adversity and never wavered. Whether we're up by 20 or down by 20, you'd never know it when you look at Sam. He's even-keeled and exactly what you need as a quarterback. He's a tremendous athlete. I don't think I ever thought Sam would be quite the runner he is. He's very elusive, and he's a physical runner. What many people don't know is if Sam DeTillio wasn't our starting quarterback, he would be a starting outside linebacker on this football team. He's a really tough, physical kid, and he's displayed that at the quarterback position, especially down around the goal line when the chips are down. He scored a lot of touchdowns, and he's actually showed out in space. He can be elusive as well, and he's run away from some pretty athletic teams. So we're really excited that he's our guy.
How excited do you think he is when he looks in the huddle and sees all the skill positions around him? Is he like a kid in a candy store?
Sam's a smart young man, so I'm sure he understands the weapons that he's afforded. I always tell people if you get the keys to the car as a quarterback in Avon, it's a special thing, and mostly because obviously our coaches do a great job of creating a plan and putting you in a position to succeed. But Sam realizes more than anybody that he may arguably have some of the best weapons around him that any quarterback's ever had, and that's certainly a luxury.
They made a movie about your life. Who would star as Sam DeTillio?
Oh, I'd say Ethan Holbrook.
You're not going to a Hollywood actor? Or?
No way.
Why
I think he has the big personality. He has the red hair. He has the amazing bod that I want to have. So I think he's everything I want. I think Ethan Holbrook would represent me very well.
Wow.
Yeah.
In live game action, if he was to be a quarterback, could he throw as well?
Oh, he could toss the rock. For sure.
So you had to pick another ginger, right?
I had to pick another ginger. And to be honest, I don't know another Hollywood actor that's a ginger. But I'd say Ethan Holbrook all around. He's a great athlete. He can do anything. If I was a flavor of ice cream. Lately, I've been going with cookie dough, but I'm a really big fan of caramel. So I'd have to say a caramel sea salt, something around there. A little different, got an orange tint to it. It has a sting, and I don't know. I think it's savory. I'd be a pretty good caramel sea salt.
You're pretty partial to that orange tint. Huh?
Yeah, everything in my life has an orange tint to it, so.
If you were pizza, what toppings would be on it?
Pepperoni and jalapenos, pickled jalapenos. Actually, I want to switch that up. I want to go pesto, arugula, mozzarella, and some prosciutto. That's my favorite pizza.
Wow, there's the Italian in you coming out.
Yeah, that's it right there. That's my favorite. It's so good. It's light. You can eat a whole pizza by yourself. Yeah.
That did sounds totally different. You lost me. I got lost in the middle of it. Just $1 billion a week ago. Mm-hmm. If you won the lottery, what would be the first thing you'd purchase, and what would be the first maybe 10 things you'd purchase?
I'd buy some flowers for my mom. Always got to take care of your mom. And then I would go on a vacation and I would spend $100K and just deck myself out for a week and go crazy. And then I'd come back, get everything straight, invest some, give some I'd buy new uniforms for this football program. I'd I'd deck out this football program with $1 million. Why not? And then, I don't know. I'd probably start, I don't know. I'd probably get a new car. I want a van. I want a Winnebago van, one of the Mercedes ones, and you can just drive around in it. I think that'd be so dope. So I'd buy a van, I'd buy my mom flowers, I'd take a trip to wherever I'd want. I'd buy a private jet, a sweet one. Because then, if you have a jet, you can go wherever. If you have a jet and a van, you can go wherever you want. There's no limits.
Anybody going with you on these trips?
Oh yeah, I'd take some of my buddies. I would take my family. I'd take some random guy off the street. I mean, I'm just looking for experiences if I have $1 million. Or $1 billion. $1 billion, not even $1 million. I'd just live my life. No, that's probably it. Go Eagles.